Hello class, this is Anthony Cruz, your peer leader, and here I'm going to solve some problem about factoring. Professor did last class. Also, reminder is please complete a survey to me be able to choose the best time to you, the time which work better for you to do our peer leader section. I send the email with the link to the survey, and Professor Amador also post the video, the survey. So you can find it there, or you can find it in my email I sent to you. To those students who were typing me back about they need to work on Thursday. Don't worry because I will record those videos and I will send it to you. Today I will make this video for you. That's the first video, and this is some example about factoring by different methods as Professor did it last time. So here is the video, and the first method we use is, let me call number one, factoring by greater common factor. This is greater common factor. So I bring an example for you, this case, and this was here 6x cubed minus 9x squared plus 2x. So in here, this is one of the easier one, and here you use half. You need to look the greater common factor between those three numbers, 6, 9, and here was 12. Sorry, here is 12 and 12. So to be able to find the greater common factor in those three numbers, you first have to look for the numbers, the factor of each number. So the factor for 6, you go dividing by you always, to find the factor, go dividing by prime number if possible. First prime number is 2, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then next prime number is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So those are the factors of 6. Then the factor of 9 go dividing by the prime numbers. By 2 is not possible, but by 3 is possible. 9 by 3 divided by 3 is 3. Then 3 divided by 3 again is 1. So those are the factors for 9. And here the last one is 12. Go dividing by the prime numbers. First prime number is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Then 6 divided by 2 is 3, right? And then 3 divided by 2 is not possible, but it is possible 3 divided by 3, which is 1. So those are the factors for 12. And for 6, for 9, this is the number, this is the number, and this is the number. And for 12, so since you have those factors, to find the common factor between those three numbers, you have to look for the numbers which are common in the three different numbers, the factors numbers commons. So if you can see, here is 3, here is a 3 also, and here is a 3. So the common number, the greatest common factor between those three numbers is 3. But you don't finish there because you're missing the greatest common factor in terms of variables. In terms of variable, it is easier because if you have three terms here, right? You have those three terms, 1, 2, and 3. You done with the numbers, so now go use with the variable, in this case x. To find the greatest common factors, you just have to see the lower exponent, the letter which have the variable, in this case x, which have the lower exponent. As here we have a 1, right? We don't mark it. If you want to mark it, you can do it. So this variable is which have the lower exponent, so this x will be the greatest common factor between the three terms in terms of variable. So as you done with the number, now you find the x in terms of variable. So greatest common factor, talking about number and variable, is 3x. So since you have this greatest common factor, you only have to write the 3x outside and then multiply this 3x by the original equation divided by the greatest common factor. So you have to do it term by term. The first term is 6x cubed. So 6x cubed divided by 3x, it will be equal to 2x squared, because you're dividing 6 by 3 is 2, and then x cubed divided by x squared. When you divide in variable, you need only to subtract the power, but take care, you have to work to be able to divide variable. You need to divide the same variable over the same variable. You cannot divide x over y and subtract the power. No, you have same variable as here in the top, and then in here in the bottom, which is x, you subtract the power. Here I have 3 minus 1, which is a 1 here. This is 2x. So that's why this is the answer, 2x squared. Then we continue with the next term, which is minus 9. The minus, I will keep the minus. And then 9, first the number divided by 3, is equal to 3, right? And then 3. Then x squared divided by x. As I say, you need to subtract the power. The power is 2. 2 minus 1, which is a 1 in the here is a 1. You don't need to write it. So when you subtract, you remain with x to the power of 1, which is x. So this is the second answer. And then the final term is 12x, which have a 1 in the top. So when you divide, first the number 12 divided by 3 is 4, and then the variable, when you subtract, x divided by x, you subtract the power, 1 minus 1, each one have a 1 in the top, and you will cancel out because it will be 0, and something, whichever thing to the power of 0 is 1. And when you multiply 1 times 4 here, you will remain with 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So you don't need to write the 1. So this is the answer for this first equation and for this first method. This is easier to have it there. Let me continue with the next one. Next one will be factoring by grouping. Factoring by grouping. Number, let me call it number 2. number 2, factoring and by grouping. It's here. So I bring a sample for you. The sample was x cube plus 3x squared plus 2x plus 6. So here you have to keep in mind, to be able to use this method, you will need to have 4 terms. If you can see, first term is x cubed, 1, first, second term, third term, and the term number 4. So here we have 4 terms. As we have 4 terms, we can use factoring by grouping. So the thing here is that you will make 2 groups, and since you have those 2 groups, you are able to work with this. So the first group is x cubed and 3x squared, and the second group is this 2x plus 6. So to work with these 2 groups, you will need to put it together. It is better to put it together, divided with parentheses. It's the same, but it is only a way to be able to see the better. So first group square, close parentheses, plus is the same yet 2x plus 6. So here you have the group, and now again you need to look for the greatest common factors. Now you have 2 things. Look for the greatest common factor of each term. Remember, to look for the greatest common factor, you will need to look for the number first. In the first term here, the greatest common factor, you have 1 right in front of the x. The greatest common the factors of 1 is 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. You finish. This is the factor. And then you have 3. The greatest common the factors of 3, is, remember, you have to go divided by prime numbers. So 3 divided by 2 is not possible, and then 3 divided by 3 is 1. So for 3 is 3. For us, we are looking for the common. If you see, the factor for 3 is 3, but if you multiply 3 times 1, will be 3. So I can say that 1 and 3 are both factor of 3, because 1 times 3 is 3. So which is the common factor in here, the greatest common factor? So it's the 1, because 1 is in here and 1 is in the top one. So first greatest common factor in terms of number is 1. And then when we're looking in terms of variable, remember I told you that in terms of variable, you only have to take the variable which have the lower exponent. The variable which have the lower exponent is this one, x squared. So you got the greatest common factor in terms of numbers and in terms of variable. Now put it together. I will continue here. Here you got greatest common factor, which was, remember, 1. I don't have to write the 1, and then x squared. Now you need to multiply this x squared, sign the original equation, but divided by the factor, by the greatest common factor. When you divide 3x by x squared, you remember you need to subtract the powers. 3 minus 2 will be 1. I don't have to put it. If you want, you can put it. So this is x to the power of 1, and then plus, when you divide 3x squared by x squared, 3 divided by 1, first in sum of number is 3, and then as you have x squared in the top and x squared in the bottom, so dividing x squared by x squared, when you subtract the two powers, which are 2 minus 2 is 0, you will remain with, you can cancel the x, so you will remain with this. If you want to see why you can cancel the x, it is because you will remain with 2 minus 2, which is 0, x to the power of 0, and there is a rule that says that all number to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So this is equal to 1. As you got 1 and you had 3 here, the 3 times 1, how much is this? This is 3. So this is the 3 which was inside here. That's why you can cancel the x. So this is the first part, and then you will continue with the next part. Plus, here is plus. Now the same, greater common factor here between the numbers first, which are 2 and 6, right? 2, greater common factor, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so the factors are 2. And then for 6, this is 6 divided by 2 first is 3, then 3 divided by 2 is not possible, then 3 divided by 3 is possible, which is 1. So the factors are 2 and 3. So which is the greatest common factor in terms of number? Is the common number, which is 2. 2 in the top and 2 in the bottom. 2 pin here and 2 pin here. So 2 is the number. So I got 2. So and now I need to go for the greatest common factor in term of variables. In terms of variable, here I have 2x, and then plus 6. The 6 don't have a variable. You just have to keep the 2, use the number. You don't have to rewrite. There is no greater common factor in terms of variable, because there is no something in common in terms of variable in both sides. So the greater common factor here in terms of number and in terms of variable is 2. There is only greater common factor in terms of number. So the same process now. Now you have to multiply the 2 times the original equation, which is here, but divided by the greater common factor you just find, which is the greater common factor 2. So 2x divided by 2, 2 by 2 is 1. I don't have to multiply 1 in front of a variable, and then x divided by, there is nothing there, but you will remain the x. So now you will continue with the other term, which is 6 divided by 2. How much is this? This is 3, right? So you got this. As you have here, and here, the common part, you are able to say this as a factor. So this is the first factor, and then time the second factor will be x squared plus the 2, and this is your answer. This is your final answer for this problem. Then we will continue. Let me see if I have a space here. Yes, I have a space. Here I will continue on. Let me call this number 3. Factoring trinomials. I bring the example for you, which was x squared plus 5x plus 6. So this is the sample. So when you have factoring trinomials, you first have to find, this is, for me, this is the easier one. You first have to find two numbers that when you multiply the two numbers give you the last term, which is 6, and then when you add those two numbers give you the second term in front of the x, which is 5. So which number gives you 6? You just have to look for the factor of 6. You remember how to find factors. 6 go divided by 2 is 3, and then by 3 is equal to 1. Sorry, 3 by 3 is 1. So the factor are 2 and 3. Now, since you have the factors, you plug. As you know that x squared is the same as x times x, you know that this is equal to this, right? So this equality, you have 2x. First, this is x squared will be in two parts. Here, close parenthesis, and then in the other parenthesis here. This is my first x squared, and then, as the rules say, you have to find two numbers that when you multiply those two numbers give you 6, and then two numbers that when you multiply those, when you add those two numbers, those two same numbers give you 5. Let me see if this will work. 2 times 3, how much is this? This is 5. So the first thing is done, it's okay. Give me 6. Sorry, this is 2 times 3 is 6. So this is okay, the first rule. And then those two numbers, when I add those two numbers, I need to get 5. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So those two numbers are working. Since those two numbers are working, I need to plug the two numbers. Now, let me see which sign will work. The signs are important, so many important. So to be able to see which sign are working, you say that the 5 in front is positive, so you need a positive number, a positive sign, a positive number. You need to get a positive 5. How can you get a positive 5 when you add in those two numbers? Here needs to be 2 positive and the 3 positive also, because we are working with those real numbers, and the only way to get 5 when adding is positive 2 and positive 3. If I put, for example, negative 2 and positive 3, it will be a subtraction that will give me 1. This is not 5. And if I put positive 2 and negative 3, this will give me -1, and I want positive 5. So that's why this is the answer. Those are the two numbers, and this is the answer also. Now let me go with another method. Let me call this method 4, which is factoring trinomials using the quadratic formula. Factoring trinomials using the quadratic formula. So quadratic formula, if you don't know, quadratic formula is x is equal to minus b plus and minus square root of b squared, b squared minus 4 AC. All this divided by 2A. So since you have that, you see that you have different variables here. You have B, you have A, and you have C. So to be able to find this number, those numbers, you only have to see in the formula. And I will bring an example for you, which is the sample I bring for you is x squared minus 4x minus 12. So to find A, here A will be equal to the first sum in front of the first variable square, which is x squared. The first sum in front is 1, right? In front of here there is a 1, we don't have to mark it. And then the second term near to the second number in front of the x is minus 4, so this will be our B. B is equal to minus 4, and the C will be equal to minus 12, the last term. So we have the three variables. Now we can just plug those variables into the formula. So let we proceed here, and x will be equal to minus, this minus is from the formula, so minus B. Who is B? B is minus 4. Take care with this, because if you have the minus from the formula and you have another minus from the number, B is minus 4, you have to put both minus. So minus times minus 4, minus from the formula and then minus from the number. You got here plus minus from the formula, and then square root of B square. Who is B? B is minus 4 square, right? Use always use parentheses. Minus from the formula, 4 from the formula, 4 from the formula. This is 4, and then formula say that will be A. Who is A? A is 1 times C. Who is C? C is minus 12. Minus 12. So since you got that, all this divided by 2 times A. Who is A? A is minus 12 again. So now we plug all the numbers into the variables. Now we are able to solve. So here is use algebra. Then we continue. So x will be equal to what? Minus outside and then minus 4. This minus, when you have two minus outside and inside the parentheses, the minus times minus will convert to positive. So now you will have 4. This is positive 4. Then plus minus from the formula, the square root. Then you have minus 4 square. When you have something square, always will be positive, because as you have a square mean multiply twice the same number. So as you have minus 4 times minus 4, when you multiply two negative number, will be positive number. So will be positive first, and then minus 4 times minus 4 will be positive system. You don't have to mark the positive. So here will be system. Sorry, this is system. System first. Then you will have minus from the formula 4. This is 4. 4 times 1 times 12 minus 4 times 1 times 12. When you multiply those two numbers, you will get first minus 4, and then minus 4 times 12 will give you what? Minus and positive will be minus, and then minus 4 times 12 is 48, minus 48. So minus 48 is here. Close parenthesis, close the square root, and then divided by 2 times minus 12. How much is 2 times minus 12? This is positive times minus, will be minus, right? And then, sorry, I make a mistake here. Here was 2 times, from the formula here, say 2 times a, and a is 1. I write 12. I was wrong here. A is 1. Look at here. A is 1. Look at the right. A is 1. As a is 1, is time 1 here. I make a mistake here. There. So now, all those things divided by 2 times 1. How much is 2 times 1? This is 2. Now, I will continue doing the algebra. This is only algebra. But the thing here is that this is long. That's why a lot of people don't like that method, because this is longer than other. So let we continue here. I have 4 plus minus, then the square root of 16 minus 48. How much is 16 minus 48? Here I make a mistake. Should be positive. 48. Let me do this part again. Minus 4 times 1 times 12, minus 12, sorry. Here was minus 4 times 1 is minus 4, and then minus 4, minus 4 times minus 12. I was wrong there. When you multiply 2 minus, we give you positive, right? So it will be positive 48, not negative. Positive 48 was a mistake there. Positive 48, that's the answer. So that's why here is 16 plus positive 48. 16 plus 48. And this is equal to 16 plus 48 is equal to 64. 64. So all this, remember, divided by 2. Now, the next step, here say the square root. Here continue rewriting the number, the 4 in the front. 4 plus minus. How much is the square root of 64? Remember, square root of 64, you can use a calculator, is 8. And then all this divided by 2. The thing here is you have positive and have negative, plus and minus. This is because you will get 2 answers. You will get x1 and you will get x2. That's the reason. So x1 will be with using one of the 2 symbols. For x1 I will use the positive. So this is equal to x1 is equal to 12 divided by 2. So this will be equal to x1 is equal to 6. First answer. Then the second answer, I will call the x2, is equal to the same thing but using the minus. 4 minus 8 divided by 2. So I will continue here, which is x2 is equal to 4 minus 8 will be minus. Remember, different sign will be subtraction, and you will keep the sign of the number which is greater. as the 8 is greater, I will keep the minus, and then I will do the subtraction. 8 minus 4 is equal to 4, and then divided by 2. X2 second value will be equal to minus dividing minus 4 divided by 2. Remember, when you divide minus by positive, you will get minus, and then 4 times 2 is 2. So this is your second answer. As you're looking for factors, you can use the here x, here you have 6 positive, will be, you can pass the 6 is in the right side, you can pass the 6 to the left side as negative. You need to change the sign, and here in the other x, this is from here and this is from here. Wait, from here, this is to this one. In the next one, you have -2 in the right side. You need to pass the -2 to the left side with the different signs, which is different signs, positive, right? So this is the factor equation. This is the answer in this case. Those are the solution. Here I find the solution, and then I find the factor equation. So now I will continue with another method, which is, let me call this method number 5, which is factoring the difference of 2 squared. This is a cool method. This is number 5. Factoring factoring the difference of 2 squared. Here. Okay. Solve this. To be able to solve this, I bring a sample equation, which is 9. Here is 9x squared minus. This is a cool example because here the formula to be able to solve difference of 2 squared say that your equation should look like this: a squared minus b squared. So if you see here, you don't have something similar to this, but the thing is that you can transfer this original equation to something like this, and when you got to something like the formula, and when you got something like this, like the formula, this will be equal to a plus b, a minus b. Don't matter the order, you can write the a minus b first, or doesn't matter. So first I have to convert this original equation to something similar to this. To be able to do that, in the first time here, I see that I have something squared, but the square is not applying to the 9. To convert the equation to something that the square is applying to the 9, talking about the first term, we need to take this square root of 9, and then we can put it under the square. So the square root of 9, use your calculator, is equal to 3. So 3, and then you write the x, and now the square outside. Now you can apply the square to the whole term. And then minus 25. 25 is not in a form like in the equation says here, because you need something. In this case, the 25 will be referring to b, but you need something square. B square. B is the number. In here and here you don't have something square. But to convert to something square, again you need to take the square root of 25. And when you take the square root of 25 is 5, and put it square. Now you have something square minus something square. If you ask why can I just take the root square of 25 and put a square? This is because 25 is the same as 5 squared. If you use your calculator, 5 squared is equal to 25. So here we are not changing nothing. We are just rewriting in a different way to be able to see this thing, this equation. That is why this is the same. In math, we are not able to change things just to get the answer. In math, we need to transform things to convert in something that we want. In this case, I want something squared minus something squared. I got it right now. So now I can implement the equation. It says a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So here my a was 3x, right? And then my b was equal to 5. Since I have those two numbers, now I can just plug in the formula. Here, parenthesis, a, who is my a? 3x. Then says plus b, who is my b? 5, close parenthesis. Then times a, who is my a? 3x. Then minus b, who is my b? 5. So now I got the answer. This is the answer for this one. This is a cool method. I like this method. So, and then I will continue with another method, which is like a combination of the other methods. This is cool also. So here I got, let me call this method number 6, and this is factoring by completing the square. So here I bring this example to be able to solve this problem, to implement factoring by completing the square. So as the title says, you need to complete the square first, and then you'll be able to solve the question. So to complete the square, here, let me write another color. Here, to be able to complete the square, you need to look for a number. You need to divide the second number in front of the x, which is 6, by 2 first. You need to divide the number by 2. Wait a moment. So you need to find, divide this number 6 by 2, always the middle number. 6, what happened here? Oh, 6. We need to divide 6. Wait a moment, please. Here we go. I erased something here, which was factoring by completing the square. The square. So let me continue. Now in here we have to divide the second number, which is 6, right, by 2. 6 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2, which is equal to 3, right? And then since you got the 3, you have to write the 3 squared. To put the 3 squared, this is the rule, which is 9. So when you got the 9, you will rewrite the same equation, x squared plus 6x plus 5, and you will add a positive 9, this is the number you find right here, and a negative 9. The number you got, you need to add a positive and negative. So since you add this number, positive and negative, you will now try to divide the equation in 2 parts, where the first part will be x squared plus 6x. Then you will put the positive 9 into. You have a positive 9 here, right? You have to put the positive 9 here, and then close parentheses, and you will write the 5, positive 5 outside, and then the negative 5, the negative 9 also outside. Since you find this, you will solve this. This is a subtraction, right? And this subtraction, first you rewrite the first equation, the first part of the equation. Always remember to rewrite things, because sometimes we lose something because of stopping rewriting. Always rewrite the whole equation. Don't skip part, like to leave it to the end, and then you will maybe at the end you will forget about to bring this part, you skip. Always rewrite the whole equation. So this calculation is plus 5 minus 9. This is different signs. So different sign is subtraction, and I will keep the sign of the greater number. Which is the sign of the greater number? Negative, right? Because 9 is the greater number, and when you subtract 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. So this is something you are approaching to something you will use right now. So since you got that, there is a rule that says when you have x squared plus 6x plus something that can be squared, that you can take the square root, this will be equal to the first term, which is x without the square, and then you will say plus the square root of the last term, which is 9, right? 9, the last term, talking about the things inside the parentheses. So the square root of 9 is 3. So all this is square. If you say why can I do that? This is why. This is because when you multiply, we write it here to the right. When you multiply this, the square means multiplying the same thing twice, right? So now you can confirm that this is equal to this, because when you multiply x plus 3 times x plus 3, that's the square meaning, right? You will get this. So you can do it this by this, this by this, and then this by this, and this by this, and you will get the same. When you simplify doing little algebra, you will get the same. So if you have found those, you can prove it. So here, if I have this, which is the same as this is the same as this, I have to explain right now. And then the only thing missing is the minus 4, because the minus 4 is not part of the thing inside the parentheses. So outside minus 4. Now I will use again the same formula. Which formula? This formula I will use. Let me see if I can take it from here. I will rewrite it. So I will use again the same formula that says that the difference of 2 squared, a squared minus b squared, is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So now, to be able to solve this, I need something squared minus something squared. The first thing I have here, this is something squared, but in the second term I don't have something squared, so I need to convert the 4 to something squared. So to be able to solve that, to be able to do that conversion, use, as I say, take the square root of 4, and this will be equal to 2, and these two, that 2, you can put a square. Why I can do that? This is why. This is because 4 is equal to 2 to the power of 2. If you place 2 in your calculator and then you power it, you power this 2 to the power of 2, sorry. 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 4. So that's why that I can rewrite the 4 in here as, first rewrite the first part of the equation, and then I can rewrite the 4 as 2 to the power of 2. And since I have that, now I have something squared minus something squared, and for that reason I can use this formula that say that a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. Now here, which is my b? My a will be equal to x plus 3, because this is the thing that is inside the parentheses, and this is a square. And my v here will be 2, right? So the formula says that here will be a, which is a, x plus 3, closing parenthesis, minus, or plus, no matter the order, plus b, who is b? B is 2. And then I need another kind of parenthesis here to make a division, times a minus b, who is a? The same, x, here it is, x plus 3, this is my a, and then minus b, b is 2. So now the only thing is I need to combine this, combine those two things, and I will get the answer. This is easy, more easy than you think. So since you have this, you can see that here is a addition. Here and here you have numbers, so you can combine those two numbers. And in the first part of the equation, in the first factor, you will get x, the x. You have to combine x with x, as in the other side there is no x, just will be just x. So will be x, and then 3 plus 2. Why plus? Because those numbers have the same sign, both are positive, and we keep the sign, which is positive. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then in the other factor is here, this is for this and this is for this, and here is the same process. The difference here, and you can see there is the x, we bring the x, and then positive 3 minus and minus 2. When you have different sign, remember it's subtraction, and I will keep the sign of the greater number, which is the greater number, positive 3, right? 3 is the greater number. As 3 is the greater number, I will keep the positive. So positive, and then different sign, subtraction. 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. So you finish. This is the answer for this, implementing the factoring by completing the square. So let me go back, and you can see from the beginning, factoring by greater common factor, here it is. Factoring by grouping, here it is. Factoring trinomials, here it is. Factoring trinomial using the quadratic formula, here it is. Then factoring the difference of two squares, here it is. And the last one is factoring by completing the square, here it is. Thank you guys. See you next class with the professor.